What's good, YouTube? It is your boy, man, Rigby Logical, back again with another video. And as you can see, man, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Washington Commanders, man. The Washington Commanders, they play the Detroit Lions on Sunday, and, they lost. The defense gave up way too many points. The offense had a really slow start, but they end up picking it back up, but a little bit too late. We're going to talk about Carson Wentz. He's been balling these last two games, man. I got an interesting, story to tell y'all about Carson Wentz. And then the defense, it's on a really bad down slope. Like, it hit a cliff. And it seems like there is no recovery coming back, man. But the lack of videos, sorry. But first off, the lack of videos, I'm so sorry. I was on vacation for a week. I was in Washington, D.C., ironically, but I was just there for vacation, to see some things, sightseeing, things like that. And I'm actually going through a job transition, so I may be a little slow on the uploads until I get my work schedule like consistent or whatever. But that's still no excuse. I still gotta post this content. I know some of y'all love my content, and I love y'all for watching it. But let's get straight into the video, man. So as y'all know, man, Carson Wentz has been balling, proving the haters wrong, proving all the doubters wrong. It's funny because the Colts just lost to the Jaguars in embarrassing fashion again. As y'all know, they haven't beat the Jaguars in Jacksonville since 2014. I was an 8th grader during that time, so that's embarrassing, man. And the Jaguars have been bad. They only had really one good season, and that was the 2017 season. But besides that, the Jags have been bad. But they love blaming on Carson Wentz this, Carson Wentz that. But it's not fully Carson Wentz's fault. The team as a whole is so many problems with the Colts. Different story for a different day. But anyways, man, Carson Wentz, actually, I have on my fantasy team, and I did an auction draft, and basically, if you put a player up, and you start with some money, like $200, for example, and then you just auction a player. So like Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor went for like $60 in my fantasy league. I didn't get him, but that's like almost half your money. You know what I'm saying, on one player. A lot of running backs, obviously, and some receivers, they go for that high bid. But I got Carson Wentz for literally $1. He was my very first pick that I put on the auction block. People thought, I'm a big Carson Wentz fan, so I'm one of those people. I'm a big fan, so let me go ahead and get him. But I believe in Carson Wentz. Wentz has the weapons. I mean, the O-line can be very inconsistent, but we're gonna look at his stats, and bro's been balling. I think the Eagles, the 2020 Eagles and the 2021 Colts set him up for failure, but the 2022 Commanders, man, they put him up for really good. So as y'all know, the 2020 season, the Eagles, it was injured season, it was COVID. So many things were going on during that time period, but at the same time, as y'all seen at the video about the Carson Wentz story, the Eagles were moving in a direction where Carson Wentz was no longer going to be a part of the team anymore. And obviously, they got a lot of young guys. Some pieces were still there from the Super Bowl team, but they didn't really like Carson Wentz, Alshon Jeffrey. But it was just like the weapons that Wentz had was just so bad. Like, Quez Watkins was a rookie, Greg Ward was a second-year player, Jalen Reagor, rookie, Alshon Jeffrey, he only played like 3 games and he barely did anything. Deshaun Jackson was on one leg. Like, bro was not 22 anymore. Like, he was like 34. Like, yes, he was still fast, but he's not like lightning speed fast, is what I'm trying to say. You had JJ Argo-Whiteside, which we all knew bro was gonna be a bust, but only people that really had for him was Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, and both of them really had down years that year because, again, with the virus going on and with injuries, it was just a really bad season. So the 2021 Colts, on the other hand, a bit of an upgrade, but I don't really see that big of an upgrade at the same time. Really, the only upgrade is Michael Pittman, but we really didn't we didn't know what to expect from Michael Pittman. He's pretty much like a wild card sort of receiver. It was just like that was his second year. He had a decent first year, but his second year, we didn't know how big of a step he was going to take. And they didn't really have a true number one receiver. Zach Pascal, he's not all of that. T.Y. Hilton, he was out of his prime by then. He didn't even want Carson Wentz there. There were tweets about him not liking Carson Wentz, and he used to like those tweets and stuff like that. Paris Campbell, not that good. Nyheim Hines, a really great receiving back, but I mean, he's a running back. I mean, he's not a receiver. Jack Doyle, he's a really good. What do you call him? Blanket? No, I think blanket tight ends or something like that. But Mo Ali Cox is a really good 50-50 ball receiver, big body tight end, I should say. And then, but the Commanders, like, their receiving corps just blow both these teams out. First off, Terry McLaurin. I mean, he's a borderline All-Pro. I mean, we can all just agree on that. Sims, I mean, he's decent, but Curtis Samuel, he's really good. Dotson has really good upside, and then Logan Thomas, when he's healthy, he's one of the best tight ends in the NFL. So, I mean, to me personally, I mean, just Terry McLaurin himself. I mean, he beats out both number one receivers from the Colts and the Eagles combined together. I mean, that's just a flat statement that we can all agree on, correct? So let's talk about the two games that Wentz played in. First off, the Jaguars game. Wentz actually balled out again. Had on my fantasy team. He put about 40 points on both of these games. He could have had more in both games if he didn't fumble or threw the 2 interceptions. I ain't gonna talk about that. But anyways, man, Carson Wentz, the first game versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, 27 for 41. I forgot to put the yards. I'm so sorry. But he had 330 yards in both games, basically. 4 touchdowns in the Jaguars game and then 2 interceptions, man. Bro was balling. One of the interceptions to Tavon Walker that he threw, that was an accident. Bro had a brain fart, honestly. Me personally, that's what I seen. But the other one was just inexcusable. He was sacked one time, and again, the line can be very inconsistent. So I mean, he was back there going, back there taking his time. Wasn't really hit like that, and they won 28-22. And he had that game-winning touchdown, man. Carson Wentz letting his nuts hang, man. The GOAT, man. Carson Wentz, I love you. But no. I'm just playing. But nah, the second game versus the Lions, again, they started off very, very slow. I remember he had like 5 passing yards in the first quarter or something crazy like that. It was low. Like, they did terrible in the first half. Terrible. But they picked it up in the second half. And again, I'm so sorry about the yards. Me being lazy. I'm so sorry. But Wentz, he had 30 for 46, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 5 times, man. That is just, you got to protect the quarterback, man. I mean, that is just not good. And he fumbled once. Yes, they won the fumble, but, you still fumble once. That's not good. And they lost 36-27. 36-27. The defense gave up 36 points to the Detroit Lions, man. We got to talk about the defense, man. I mean, I had really high hopes for this defense. You know what I'm saying? In 2020, one of my favorite defenses ran by one of my favorite coaches of all time, Jack Del Rio, which we're going to talk about. The defense is on a downward spiral, and it's just crazy. Like, in the 2020 season, they was balling in the playoffs. It was balling versus Tampa, and then last year they just hit like a rock or like a cliff. It was just crazy. Now, if you don't know who this man is, his name is Jack Del Rio, man. He ran the early 2000s Jacksonville Jaguars. He ran the 2010 Oakland Raiders up until like 2016 before he got fired. He is one of the smartest defensive coaches of all time to me. I love his philosophy. He was a 4-3 scheme, which means 4 D linemen and then 3 linebackers. He's really known for the early 2000 Jaguars with John Henderson and then the other big tight end, defensive tackle, I think Michael Sherrod or something like that. Y'all finna flame me in the comment section. I really don't care. But he's known for just having two really good D linemen in that Jaguars defense, clogging up the middle. And Henderson was really fast. He was a big boy, but he can accelerate super fast. Bro was stupid fast. So this is how that defense is built. And honestly, the 2000 Jags secondary is a lot better. They had Rasheem Matthews. They had a young Reggie Nelson at the time. That was like in 07. They had a really good secondary. This secondary is not that good. Like, it's terrible. The D line is really good, but the secondary is just not that good. As you can see here, the stats from the 2020 and the 2021 season. So again, in 2020, right, it was balling. Second in total yards, second in passing yards. They were second in passing touchdowns, second in interceptions, forced, fifth in sacks. There was ninth in QB pressure, which is okay, still top 10, really good. 13th in total rushing yards given up, which is still really good, and fourth in points per game. Now I understand, right? 2020 was just a weird year, but still, they was balling. Like, you can tell, that defense was ferocious. All they needed was an offense, and they could potentially be like the best team in the NFC that year. Me personally, like, just watching the old games, they was balling. And then 2021 happens, and they hit a cliff. And as I'm doing this research, I really don't see any major injuries. I think actually Chase Young got hurt in 2020. No, in 2021, you'll see it right here. He got hurt, but basically, like, still, like, they did terrible. It was 22nd in total yards. That's 20 spots lower. 29th in passing yards given up. They was the worst team in the NFL in passing touchdowns given up. Like, teams was just dotting them up. 11 in interceptions forced, right? 12th in sacks. 15th in QB pressure. They couldn't get to the quarterback that much. 9th in rushing yards, and 26th in points per game. This defense hit a cliff, man. And as y'all can see right here, these stats versus the Lions and Jaguars, it's looking like a 2021 season all over again. In the first game versus the Jaguars, they gave up 383 yards. Although the time of possession was about equal, and third down conversions were pretty good, it's just the big plays that just killed them. Right, Trevor Lawrence, they actually did pretty good. 275, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 2 sacks. But the run game killed them. James Robinson, 11 carries, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Christian Kirk had a big game. Right, again, they can't guard nobody. They can't. And as the season progresses, they're going to get exposed all season long. Zay Jones, six receptions, 65 yards. And again, like, I understand that they both balled out versus the Colts, but it just seems like nobody can guard anybody. I mean, William Jackson, he's just mid. He's been mid his whole career, and we thought with him going to the Commanders football team, whatever, he was going to take a step forward. That's not the case, right? But going on to the Lions game, I mean, 425 yards, and again, the time of possession is like favoring the Commanders offense. And again, they had a slow start, 4 for 13 on third downs, excuse me, sorry. But again, Jared Goff had 256 yards, 4 touchdowns. He got sacked 3 times though. Armand St. Brown had 2 carries, 68 yards. Big plays, right? 9 receptions, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Again, Armand St. Brown, he's really good. Don't get me wrong, he's super good. I ain't gonna say super good, but he's really good. I ain't gonna say, yeah, he's really good. But, like, he made it look easy out there, right? DeAndre Swift, I think he got hurt because I actually had a parlay on him to get over 80 yards, and I'm really hot that he ain't get it. It's like he just stopped playing. I don't know what happened, so I just put it hurt. Maybe one of y'all tell me in the comment section. I don't know, but 5 carry, 56 yards, 2 receptions, 31 yards, 1 touchdown. This is before he got hurt, I think. So, bro, if he would have kept playing, he probably would have went even crazier, right? I mean, that's just crazy to me, man. But, this is just a short little video, man. Just my thoughts. The Commanders, I think their season, the defense has to step it up. Jack Del Rio, Ron Rivera, they got to make a move somehow, some way. Bring in somebody who can change the culture of the defense. Because if that defense steps up, they're a dangerous team. Carson Wentz is balling. He has the weapons now. He has a semi-good running back core, really good weapons to throw to the outside. It's just the defense. And I don't want Carson Wentz. Even though I'm an Eagles fan at heart, I really love Carson Wentz in this game, man. I always loved this game since we got him in 2016. I mean, I've always loved this game. I've always had his back, man, and I really want to see him succeed. This is his 3rd team in his 3rd year, 3rd team in 3 years. Sorry, so it's like last year was supposed to be his reset, but it didn't work out. The Colts was a run-oriented team, and then once they gave him the ball to do what he had to do, it was just he had limited options. and now he has all the options in the world, and he's balling, but the defense is holding him back. But that's enough ranting for me. This video is going way too long. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the video, man. And we are out, bruh. Peace.